Welcome to my review and commentary on the enjoyable and hilariously funny movie from back in the day. Sprung, released in 1997, centers around two sets of friends. The first set of friends are Clyde and Montel. Clyde is portrayed by Joe Torre. Montel is portrayed by Rusty Cundieff, who also directed this film. The other set of friends are Adina and Brandy. Adina is portrayed by Paula Jai Parker. And Brandy is portrayed by Tisha Campbell. The two sets of friends meet at a mutually attended party. Clyde, looking to score, pulls out some Porsche car keys of a car that he had borrowed in order to floss like he had it like that. Clyde also smoothly drops an ATM bank receipt that he had copped at the local ATM. And he made sure that ATM receipt was from a customer that had money. After Clyde strategically dropped the ATM bank receipt, he and Montel stepped away from the ladies for a minute, believing that the ladies would check out that ATM bank receipt. As Clyde believed, the ladies did check out the ATM bank receipt in a not so obvious way, though. And what they saw had Adina feeling a little faint. So Clyde slickly suggested that he and Adina leave the party and go somewhere where she can relax and feel better. And she was all down for that. Clyde and Adina just left their best friends, Brandy and Montel, just hanging. When Clyde and Adina reach Clyde's apartment, Adina quickly senses this is not a place of a baller or where a baller would stay. And Clyde quickly flips the script and says that this is not his place. This is his boy Montel's place. And he assured her that the way that he rolling, he wouldn't just stay in a house like this. He got a mansion. He basically was talking his ish and telling her this, and she bought it. That it was not his place, it was his boy's, Montel's place. She bought what he was selling so much that they end up, well, while Clyde and Adina are strongly getting it in at Clyde's apartment, Montel is trying to find his way to Clyde's apartment because he stays with Clyde. He has just moved back in town, so he's staying with Clyde until he gets his own place. But he's having difficulty finding the address to Clyde's apartment. Brandy offered to take him to Clyde's apartment since Clyde left him, and that's how Montel got to the party in the first place. But like I said, Montel's having problems finding the address, the actual address to the apartment. After clapping cheeks, Adina, I believe, partially faked having a headache to be able to go to the bathroom and check out his medicine cabinet. But Clyde was slipping here. You know, he was thinking Clyde was slipping because he already told her that wasn't his place, but he was kind of slipping here. But, yeah. When Adina reaches the bathroom and opens the medicine cabinet, she realizes all these medications have Clyde's name on them. And also all the magazines in the bathroom have Clyde's name on them. And she suddenly feels like an ass that got played like a fool. Showing her angst for being played, she doused Clyde with a bucket of water. Clyde let her know that if she wasn't so superficial and on that gold digging shit, he wouldn't have been able to play her so easily. And then he was braggadocious about being able to get her and let her know that, yeah, he's a player and he's the player of the century since he got her and smacked her up. At this point, Adina demanded Clyde to drive her home, but Clyde declined, finna form his mouth to call her the B word. But before he can get the full word out, Adina clocked him, knocking him straight flat out on the bed. She then took the Porsche keys and was on her way to drive herself home. As Adina was driving off, Clyde stupidly jumped on the top of the car. Luckily, he didn't fall off. Back to Brandy and Montel. Montel was giving Brandy the wrong directions to get to Clyde's apartment. And they were, initially when they started the trek, they were closer to Clyde's apartment at that point and Montel had Brandy drive like 50 more miles away from where they was initially at. And when he told her that, she wasn't too happy, of course, that where they were at initially, they were closer to his apartment. They drove further away, and this is not going well. They are like they're not getting along. They're like water and fire. They're really not, well, not water and fire. I guess fire and oil. I don't know, water and oil. They like water and oil. They're not getting along at all. Once Adina safely made it home, Clyde, who made the trip all the way to her house on the top of the vehicle, stood outside her house for several minutes, throwing verbal jabs at her, hollering out at her house toward her outside her house. Clyde might have spent more time outside her house yapping if he wasn't confronted by one of Adina's kinfolks with Mr. Shotgun. Shortly after leaving Adina's premises, Clyde was arrested. Montel and Brandy, who saw Clyde getting arrested, headed to the police station to find out why was he arrested. And the officer told them that he was being arrested for lewd and lascivious acts. And that the complainant was headed down to give a positive ID of him. And the complainant was Adina herself. And that caused Martell especially to be a little skeptical. To the surprise of Brandy and Montel, Adina arrived at the police station in her finest Sunday church girl outfit. So Clyde was part of a police lineup with 4 other dudes, so Adina can do a positive ID of the person who sexually harassed her, or she said sexually harassed her. She trying to embarrass him. You see, she trying to embarrass him. She's trying to agitate him and aggravate him and all them things. But even though he probably can't see her through the glass, he knows who that is trying to get to him like that. And he's not too pleased.
Circular motion. I want you to somehow grab your dick and make yourself feel good and read the line again like this. Rubbing motion. Rubbing motion. Like you're doing something to yourself. Say the line now. Man, this ain't right. I'm not doing this, man. Do it in my back or I will arrest your ass for driving without a registration.
Now y'all see how low down she is for doing this. She doing all of this. And she was the one that went for him because he had the Porsche keys that he borrowed a car from a Porsche car, and he went and found an ATM bank receipt of somebody that was banking nice amount of dollars. But she jumped on that because she was money hungry and she was a gold digger. That's what's up. You gotta love comedian John Witherspoon. May he continue to rest in peace. But yeah, it's funny when he's telling him to rub it in a circular motion. So she's really rubbing it in. Have him rub it in a circular motion. She really wants to embarrass him. But like I said, she was in the wrong because she, like he said earlier, she wouldn't have been so easily played if she wasn't so turned on by materialistic, don't really mean anything type thing. She was a superficial 1997 version of a city girl almost. So I just, so she went for the fake Porsche keys and the fake ATM bank receipt. So why is she so mad at him? I can't understand. After making sure she embarrassed Clyde to the umptest, she told the police detective that none of them were the ones that committed the lewd acts upon her. While driving home from the police station with her friend Brandy, Adina let it slip that she actually let Clyde hit it. And Brandy found great humor in this. Adina also goes on to tell Brandy that since Clyde, who she mentioned as the main dog, clapped cheeks, his main boy, Montel, want to clap cheeks too. So watch out. Because basically, she was telling her friend Brandy that you ain't seen the last of Montel. Montel will be snooping in your backyard trying to hit your cheeks because his boy hit my cheeks. Basically, that's what she was saying. Wouldn't you know it, just a couple of days later, who shows up at Brandy's job but Montel himself? But he wasn't just coming with lines to try to clap any cheeks. He was coming with the idea of capturing Brandy's heart. The two of them proceeded to share quality time together, dancing the night away. Quiet, romantic nights under the stars. Over the next few weeks, they continued to do fun things together and enjoy each other's company. As the love, bond, and trust between them grew stronger, the playful sweetness. About a month or so later, Montel, having lunch with his friend Clyde, went on to tell Clyde that he and Brandy are in love and they plan on moving in together. While Montel is busy breaking the news to his friend Clyde, Brandy is busy also telling her friend Adina about their newfound love and their intentions on moving in together. Of course, Clyde and Adina were being big haters and didn't like this at all. So the two of them decided to come up with a plan to break their friends up. So basically, Adina and Clyde start trying to feed Brandy and Montel all this negative stuff, like the possibility of Brandy being a cheater with multiple men, or Montel being this controlling man that's just going to keep her barefoot and pregnant all the time. And in the kitchen. Fortunately, Clyde and Adina's tricks didn't work here. And Montel and Brandy were able to talk it through and talk through, the negative stuff that their friends were feeding them and be able to come to, hey, we want to make this happen. Beautiful thing. As these two lovebirds are love struck at a picnic in the park, Adina and Clyde activate Plan B, which includes getting married people to try to disengage them from this love thing and this potential marriage of the two, potential marriage. So Adina got the sewing circle together to get Brandy to think twice about hooking up with Montel. While Clyde gets married men to work on Montel. After all that, Clyde and Adina got a front row seat to the failure of their Plan B. So Plan C has Clyde and Montel hanging out together at a bar when a old high school crush of Montel's walks in. Her name is Veronica. As Veronica, Montel, and Clyde sit drinking and talking, catching up on old times, Veronica asks Montel, is it possible he can give her a ride home? Of course he obliged, but he didn't actually drive. She drove his car to her house because he was too intoxicated, I believe. So he allowed her to drive herself home in his car. So yeah. Montel's plan was to, once he get her home, was to drive and leave. But Veronica told him no way she's going to let him, in the state that he's in, drive this car tonight. So she invites him up to her apartment. While that's going on, the other part of the plan is taking effect. As Adina pretends to be on the phone with a girlfriend when she's actually on the phone with Clyde himself, and he's telling her that Montel is in the setup position at Veronica's apartment. Adina, talking loud so Brandy can hear her, pretends that it's a girlfriend, telling her that she's seen Brandy's man Montel with this attractive woman at this apartment building. Now, Brandy is intrigued now. What's going on? In an attempt to verify this information, Brandy asks, what is Montel wearing? And of course, Clyde, who's on the other end, acting as Adina's girlfriend, appropriately told what Montel had on. And that really had Brandy up in arms. While at Veronica's apartment, she's putting the full court press on Montel. She began to take buttons off of his shirt to open up his shirt there. While Veronica was in full seduction mode, Montel was starting small talk with her at the same time, trying to diffuse the stimulating situation and compromised situation he in. He was trying to diffuse it and, put out the flames here. He was telling Veronica how proud he was of her, that she was so successful, and how much respect he had for her. And in the midst of him talking about her and this high praise, she broke down and revealed to him that she was actually a call girl. By this time, Brandy and Adina had reached Veronica's apartment building. They were outside of Veronica's apartment building, and they see Montel's car. And now for Brandy, Brandy is really, really, really on something now. And she asks Adina, does she know the apartment number? And of course, Adina provided her with the apartment number for Veronica. Montel, for his part, tried to comfort Veronica in her chosen profession of call girl, trying to name something that a call girl is above, or something that's below a call girl. Like he told Veronica, there's many things below being a call girl. And Veronica asked him, what would that be? And only thing that could come to Montel's mind was a streetwalker. And, that triggered Veronica even more, to break down even more. By this time, Brandy was upstairs outside the door of Veronica's apartment, and she heard Veronica crying out Montel's name, basically, crying out to Montel for comfort, for her self-realization of her being a call girl. So Brandy proceeded to knock down Veronica's apartment door to catch them in the act. And she catches Montel and Veronica in a compromising position that would be a kind of difficult explain for Montel. Of course, this caused a brief end to Montel and Brandy's relationship, which left both Brandy and Montel miserable. After being successful in breaking their friends up, Clyde and Adina feel a little, they have regrets now that they did such a evil, dirty thing. And they start to have regrets, and they put their heads together to come up with a plan to get Brandy and Montel back together. But at the same time, the attraction between them seems to still be building as well. I guess evil, low-down-minded people are attracted to each other. I guess they had an attraction because they were similar beings. But anyway, yes, the main point is they were regretful. They were a little regretful, and they decided to come up with a plan to try to get their two friends back together. So Clyde invites Montel out to an event at an expensive hotel. And Adina invites Brandy out to the event at the same hotel. In Brandy and Adina's room, Adina and Clyde have set up a nice romantic dinner table for two, with a perfectly placed letter on the table, seemingly appearing to be from Montel. Adina and Clyde also went all out in setting up the bedroom of the hotel room with being very romantic, topped off with roses on the bed. So they were on point on the ambiance, trying to make this a romantic night for Brandy and Montel. So Brandy was set on high that Montel had did all of this wonderful romantic stuff for her, begging for her forgiveness, and she was ready to forgive. While Clyde and Montel were in a adjoining room, Adina slips a letter under the door into their room, labeled Montel. Of course, Montel read it and seen that it was from Brandy, and he was so excited. Before he could fully digest the letter, Clyde forcefully assisted him, I would say, into the room where Brandy was. Adina, who found her way into the room that Clyde was in, now with Clyde in tow, they listened to what the goings on between Brandy and Montel in the other room. Off the strength of the letters they received and the fact that they missed each other immensely, when they seen each other in that hotel room, they instantly went at it. Eventually, they took a break and discovered that neither one of them sent the other one the letters or set up the rooms for them, the romantic rooms or the romantic evening, and that this was a concoction from their good friends, Adina and Clyde. Brandy and Montel confront Clyde and Adina and tell them how wrong and low down they were for their tricks and games that they played all throughout this situation. And of course, Clyde and Adina didn't have any defense to that. They basically, how could they have defense? They were who they were. They were who they were, and they kind of accepted it almost. Although Clyde and Adina accepted their wrongness in this whole matter, they still tried to urge Brandy and Montel to use the room and the setting that they had set up. But besides, it cost them a lot of money to set this whole thing up in this hotel here, so they might as well use it. But Montel and Brandy said thanks, but no thanks. They weren't interested in using these accommodations. So, with the room already paid for and the settings romantically set up, Clyde and Adina decided to make good use of it and go for round 2 of their lusty desires for one another. Brandy and Montel decided to retreat to a more quiet outside venue to further discuss their love for one another and their unbreakable bond. We even get a dance sequence of them and their love. They were outside, they were in love for each other, and we even get a dance sequence from the two of them out there. And they, Brandy and Montel really were the loving couple, and their friends Clyde and Adina tried to break them up, then felt regretful and tried to get them back together. But yeah. About a year later, we see Clyde and Montel running frantically at what appears to be a wedding. And it absolutely was a wedding. But it wasn't actually the two people that the movie all throughout made us believe it would be that were getting married. The newlyweds were none other than Adina and Clyde. Who would have thunk it? After the wedding ceremony, Clyde told Montel, hey, now that her girl is all married and everything, Brandy gonna want to be getting married soon as well. But Montel was like, nah, she cool. Brandy cool with what we got. Basically, that's what Montel told Clyde. But when Adina, the bride, threw that wedding bouquet, look who jumped over there and got it. And pointed at him. The 1997 movie Sprung was a highly enjoyable watch. And if you have never checked this movie out before, or you want to check this movie out again, I suggest that you do, because it's, in my opinion, it is worth the watch. It is an enjoyable watch. With that, I'm going to end the video right here. Please feel free to like, share, and comment on this video. Also, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. After subscribing, please click that little notification bell in order to be notified of any new uploads from this channel. I thank you all for your support. I truly appreciate it. I'm out on this one. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace! One love. Stay safe. Continue to be blessed.